go live now once again to that ANC conference here in Johannesburg. We understand that the Gauteng chairperson of the ANC, David Makura, is addressing the media currently live there now.
Members working with Swane now. From here, I'm going there. I'll brief you about that as well. So the fundamental difference between what is happening here and what happened at the Ekurhuleni conference is that all the disputes were resolved. They were resolved before everybody got here. And we sat down with the regional task team and said, until these matters are resolved, you can't go to a conference, you can't get to a conference to want to resolve them there. And all those disputes were resolved in Johannesburg, whatever issues were raised, and ANC members who are here are satisfied that this is a proper conference of the ANC. The second important issue is there's been political preparations. In Johannesburg, we produced a base document at the provincial level that frames all the politics in the context of what I said earlier on. Strategy and tactics as our assessment of the balance of forces, including what's happening in Gauteng and in our municipalities. The Johannesburg leadership also developed, based on that, they also developed their own political discussion document, which is going to be discussed in the commissions to look at policy, to look at strategy, and then they will also table reports here on the state of organization. And that's when we say an ANC conference, all those issues have to be there, but also there has to be an atmosphere that this gathering here are members of the ANC, expected by society to be exemplary in their conduct. So in the preparation for this week, the leadership of Johannesburg reassured us that in Johannesburg we will have a normal conference. They are not going to be having any people who are around here who are not delegates. And there are no branches that are coming here saying their issues were not dealt with. But the most important assurance they gave us that they have an agenda, they have a program of this conference that's going to ensure they come out with a roadmap about rebuilding the ANC in Johannesburg, but also regaining popular support of the communities of Johannesburg. They have a program that they are going to table here and discuss and emerge with. And I am also happy that even though there will be contestation, in the ANC, contestation for leadership is a normal thing. The only problem is when there is an aberration, where that type of normal democratic process is turned into the be-all and end-all, as I said here. So we will have an REC elected. They will later table the credentials. And the caliber of members we have here want to make sure that they restore the credibility of the ANC. Credibility, its image, but also its capacity to really lead development in communities. We control almost 69% of the wards in Johannesburg. But in those wards, there's no service delivery. The current coalition government does not even respond to issues in those communities. So every time there's a problem there, you'll see the Premier of Gauteng and the MECs going to attend to that problem. You will not see the leadership of the city go into those areas. So the ANC has to it must shape up. It must put its house in order here so it can win the confidence of and they understand that message. And that's the message that we carried through in Sidibeng last week. That's one of the regions that had a normal conference of the ANC. They have already had a meeting of the REC during the week in Sidibeng. They've discussed the first program of action. Their resolutions are now being packaged. You know that we are awaiting the finalization of the Ekurhuleni matter. That matter is with the national office of the ANC. We are awaiting that, and it is best that it is dealt with, and we are all awaiting that matter. I am, as I live here, going to join a meeting of the provincial office bearers and the PEC deployees and the RTT of Tshwane. They have been in meetings since this morning. The provincial secretary just joined me here now. There's the treasurer of the ANC and the deputy secretary are in that meeting. They are chairing the meeting. And let me say to you that in Tshwane there would be, by last night there were 5 branches where there were still issues that needed to be resolved. And we said, as long as those issues have not been cleared, they can't start a conference. We're not going to have quarantining of votes, quarantining of branches. So if those issues are not resolved, there can't be a conference. So they are working with the provincial leadership, the NEC, Comrade Joe Maswanganye on behalf of the NEC deployees of Gauteng is also in that meeting. We are going to join that meeting now, just to go through everything, because we don't want to have a conference. And then after the conference, we have quarantined votes, and then there must be another process of investigation. So there can't be a conference if the matters have not been resolved. So that's what we're really doing, because we want conferences of the ANC in Gauteng must prepare for 2024. They must prepare sufficiently for the national conference in December 2022, December this year. We want to have a conference of the ANC of which people who want our country to really advance, to develop, to have progress. We want a conference where people who are sitting at home can say, that ANC we know, and that is the ANC we identify with. So we want to carry this even with the national conference. We want a normal conference that is not preoccupied with one issue and not dealing with the fundamental issues facing the people of South Africa. And in some significant way, the regression that we are seeing in the continent, because the ANC was established also to be a key agent for change in Africa. So the conferences of the ANC are about that. They are not just about who's going to be elected. Yes, that will be done. But even the measure on the quality of those who are getting elected, they must measure up to something, some standard. And that standard is about development in our communities and development in our country.
Mr. Makura, you've spoken about that you're going to go into a meeting right now to discuss what's happening in the city of Tshwane or the Tshwane region in the ANC. And the reports we are getting from some of our colleagues who are covering that conference is now that there is now a protest taking place. And I assume it is indeed those 5 branches who still have not resolved their disputes. What are your concerns and thoughts when it comes to now seeing this protest taking place on the day of conference?
Certainly the conference in Tshwane has not started. So you can't talk of a conference until those matters are resolved. As I said to you, there are 5 branches that whose matters were being attended to last night. Not just like the whole of this week. We have been meeting with the region, clearing different issues. And the provincial secretary just briefed me now. He just briefed me now that the treasurer is chairing a meeting with the regional task team. And me and the provincial secretary are going to join that meeting. And even if there are members who may be protesting there, what they should...
The chairperson of the ANC in Gauteng addressing the media there as that conference of the ANC in Johannesburg gets underway after several delays, of course.